can run, but you can't hide.
Good people, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Your boy Cool McCain, your host of Top of the Key podcast, along with my main man, the con man himself, the legend. Con man, what's going on?
What's going on, cool man? Happy to be on the show tonight. We got some things we're going to discuss. Looking forward to it, my brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the only place to start for me, con man, is shoot. We in the NBA playoffs. We an NBA show. We talking some matchups. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It feels like second nature. So con man. Let's start. Where you want to start? You want to start in the East? You want to start in the West?
We can go east.
All right, we'll start in the East. So the first matchup we'll discuss here: the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 1 seed, versus the Miami Heat, the number 8 seed. The series is tied 1-1. They split, of course, with it being tied 1-1 in Milwaukee. So, comment. What are your thoughts on that series?
You know, I think Milwaukee, man, I think they showed their true grit because, Giannis was not playing and, other people stepped up to the plate. And I think they showed some resilience and they came back. And, once Giannis comes back, and the fact is, I almost think that the Heat, with the loss of Hero, made more of an impact than the loss of Giannis. Because I think Milwaukee has more of a deeper team and deeper bench. And the Heat, without Hero, and they replaced him with Robinson. I mean, Hero can go and get you a bucket. He can penetrate and dish and all that. Robinson's more of a straight-up shooter. I think that proved not very well for them, as well as, when you have jump shooters, cool, is the fact that you got my man Struce.
Yeah.
Again, another spot-up shooter.
Mhm.
And when they're either on or they're off. And unfortunately, they was off. I mean, Jimmy did the damn thing. I mean, he's tough as nails, but they just don't have enough to compete with the Bucks. So I think the series is probably going to go 4-1 Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna completely have to agree with you on the 4-1. I think another point that people may not have really thought about, but to look at is Milwaukee has won plenty of games this season without Giannis. I know they weren't playoff game 7 series, but there's one thing about it. In game 1, Giannis got hurt in the game.
Yes.
Con, you played basketball, probably higher levels than I have. I played a little D3 in college, nothing big, but when you lose your best player, right? There's other guys that step up, but you're not in the same mindset. You're not in the same rotations. The ball doesn't kind of go to the same way. Everything's a little different when he's out. And when it happens in game, a lot of times it hurts your team, especially Milwaukee, because they're big on mindset. That's what's always preached in Milwaukee's mindset, right? That's Giannis, his brother, who's one of the leaders on the team, even though he doesn't play a lot, Thanasis, and all the way down. Like they're all mindset. So when you lose Giannis in a game, you don't have time to really adapt like you should. Brook Lopez would have had to step up more than he did for them to win game 1, and so would Drew Holiday. In game 2, once they knew he was out, they were prepared. You saw different versions of those guys. You saw guys that were getting after and saying, you know what, man, we got to win, right? We can't take another L. We got to win. And we saw them do that on the floor. And I feel that that's going to continue. And, a lot of people have said, I thought that Miami would win 1 at home. They got that one already. Milwaukee's not going to forget that they let them win game 1 and we're down 0-1 to the Miami Heat in its playoffs. And I think that's going to propel them to a 4-1 win as well. And honestly, I'll even go as far as saying, even if Giannis doesn't play, but maybe 1 or 2 games in the series, I think they still win because they can win 2 more games in this series without Giannis. I think they need him for that closeout game because Miami's going to come out and give them everything they got in that one. But I think, like you said, Tyler Hero missing, that's a big, big problem for Miami because of what he brings to the team. And they don't play Duncan Robinson because he's more of a defensive liability than Hero is. So, yeah, that's going to be tough to make that up for Hero. With Giannis is more like we can do it for small spurts. Second round series, they're going to need Giannis, but I think you let him get healthy in this first round and try to get him at least just back for game 5.
And cool, I totally agree with you. And the fact, in some ways, cool, it can be beneficial because you got other people stepping up. I mean, you got Bobby Portis, who is a beast. He got 21 points. I mean, 15 from the floor. I mean, 21 points. He came through. We already, we have Brook Lopez doing his thing, protecting the rim as well. Very good defensive ball player. You got Grayson Allen, who did the damn thing. And Chris Middleton. They've been up and down. Well, is he back? Is he back? I think he answered all them damn questions, cool. 33 points, 12 for 20 from the floor. I mean, 9 rebounds. I think all these questions have been answered. I mean, he came to play. And I tell you what, they're deep. And then the fact is, again, the fact of Miami not having Hero, I think what they're doing what I think is the proper thing to do. Make sure Giannis is healthy because if they have to go up against the Celtics or the Philadelphia, they want to be 100% healthy. And I think they realize they can get by Miami and let the man Giannis chill, get healthy, get his legs back together, get everything going together, and they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way. I'm with you 1,000%. Got a couple of comments here. We got guy Michael.
My man Mike Samuel, that's my dog.
What's going on, Michael? He says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Great to see you both. Good to see you too, man." And then also we got the big dog himself, Big A Cobbs.
Okay.
With the sweet brother cool. What's going on, A Cobbs, man? Glad to have you tuning in as well with us tonight. But yeah, so from there, Con, we'll go ahead and slide it on to the other half of that top bracket, and that would be the Cleveland Cavaliers against the New York Knicks. They're tied 1-1 right now at the end of the first quarter. They're tied 17-17. So what are your thoughts on? I might be a little bit behind, but what are your thoughts on that game or that series, I should say?
Well, Knicks came out the first game. I think Cavaliers were like a little bit taken aback. I think they were a little bit shocked at how the Knicks were going to come out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think, as I've been stating my piece for the last couple of weeks, it's all about in-game adjustments and what teams make that adjustments, not only if they make the adjustments, but when they make the adjustments. And I think that the Cavaliers showed some resilience and the fact that they came back with a different game plan. And, like they said, they made their adjustments. I'll give you a couple of examples. They said, look, Darius, man, you need to be more aggressive. You need to go to the hoop. You need to start shooting more. And guess what? That's what he did. Maybe Mitchell, maybe he might need to distribute the ball a bit more. That's what he did. That's what you're talking about, in-game adjustments. And I think Cleveland Cavaliers made those in-game adjustments that proved beneficial to them as well. Now, going back to tonight's game, which I haven't even really had a chance to check it out yet, but just from you telling me what the score is, I expected the Knicks to come out on fire in the Garden in front of that crowd. I figured they would show some. I gotta put the game on, but I figured they would show some more enthusiasm, come ready to play. You let Cavaliers give them an inch, they're gonna go off. You know what I mean? So I end up thinking I'm gonna think that Cavaliers gonna end up showing their true value. I think they're gonna end up beating the Knicks, not only tonight but for the rest of the series. I know a lot of Knicks fans ain't happy with me, but hey, that's how it goes.
You got to call it like you see. You got to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this one's tight. This one's what us country folks say, this is tight like net booty. This net booty tight right here. This is a tight series, man. Um, I'm gonna go Cleveland as well. Um, very tight though. I think it could go either way. Got to shout out Key with the what's up, Cool and Calm. What's up, Key? Glad to
That's the
have you
boss,
watching.
man. She's the best. She is the best. Yeah.
She is. And oh man, tight. But I'm also go Cleveland. I think they're just Donovan Mitchell. I think puts it over the edge. You talk about all the other things that they have. We saw them be a very good team last year. They were able to get better with the addition of Donovan Mitchell. Perfect situation for him. You got a lot of young guys, a lot of athletic guys. You got a point guard, so you can play off the ball where you excel the most at. You still can pass, and you still have a little bit of that combo guard, a guy that's played point guard before mentality. But you can kind of, you got that role, young guy. You do your thing. I'm just out here to do me, and I think that works for them. That blend. I think the Knicks are a really good team, and it's going to be 7 games. The series is going to go 7 games. But I just think that they have a little bit more in Cleveland, and they're going to be able to pull it out in Game 7. But again, this is one of two series. I will say this: if it goes the other way, I would not be surprised.
Oh, absolutely not.
And then Keith
I
says
agree.
sleeping on Jared Allen. We'll wait. We are not. Some people may be sleeping on Jared Allen. We'll wait. We'll wait over
You
here,
know,
man.
I mean, he has so much potential, and Mobley as well. Now they're talking about Mobley being soft. I don't know about all that. I mean, he's still young in the game. You know what I mean? He got, I learned the game a little bit more, but I definitely think that the Cavaliers, I mean, they're young, they're hungry. I think they're gonna, they're gonna pull it out. Like you said, it's probably gonna go 7, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win. But check it out, if the Knicks do win, what kind of pop that would play for New York City? I mean, they have been irrelevant for so many damn years, and for them to come out and prosper and do the damn thing, that'd be great for the city. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you make a lot of sense to me. Right now, just to give you guys a quick update on that game, it's 25-24. The Knicks are up, so still bad booty tight, like we talking about, and we're gonna have that. I think every game, all series, this is gonna be one of the best series we're gonna see. Just from play, from style, from attention to detail, aggressiveness, coaching moves, different things like that. I think this is gonna be a good one, and I'm excited to see the rest of that game after we're done, as well as the rest of the series. Now, on to the next matchup, which is going to have game 4 tomorrow. And the 76ers are going to be looking for a sweep of the Philadelphia 76ers against the Brooklyn Nets.
Cool. A lot transpired. A lot of things going on right there. You know what I mean? I think it's like a little bit of a chess game in that particular series. I think that Philadelphia, obviously, given their issue, I mean, they weren't happy the way the game played out. Obviously, having Harden getting the boot, and you know, I have my reservations about that. You know, me being a referee as well. I didn't think that necessitated disqualification or getting kicked out the game. I didn't really agree with that.
Agree. It didn't.
But you know something, they still pulled it out, even though the game was ugly. It's funny how they let Embiid stay and they got rid of. But hey, here not there, whatever. I think that even given the tough times, what it did show is I think the world is getting to see that there is another future superstar, and that would be my man Maxey. My man turned it out. Cool, he turned it out.
Yes, he does.
And he's a smooth operator. I mean, I'm so impressed with his game. He gonna get that bag. He's definitely gonna get that bag. So I think the world's gonna get to see how well this guy can play, and he's a great addition to the team. Although Harden was playing well until he got the boot, he was playing well as well. But yeah, I think definitely that Philadelphia but they gotta be prepared for the next round. They're gonna get by, and then you gotta realize too, you got to give a little bit of credit to Brooklyn Cool because look what they went through. You got cuckoo owners, you got Harden leaving, you got Kyrie leaving, you got KD leaving, you got all these things going on, and they still managed to at least make the playoffs. You got to give them their props. That they're not going to go far. They're going to get beat. They may get beat pretty bad, but you know something. I got to give them a little bit of credit. They're going to play with heart. They're going to play hard, but they have no match for Philadelphia, as far as I'm concerned.
True. So Key says in regards to the last matchup, that it's a good matchup. She also says that the 76ers have no Joel, so I'm assuming she means for this next game, Joel won't play. I don't think it's going to matter much. Brooklyn just they don't have it. Like the guys that Brooklyn are looking for to be their guys, Cam Johnson, those guys, they're not used to being the 1 and the 2. So it's going to take a summer. It's going to take the training, the extra time in the gym, the mentality shift. But I think they have what it takes to be that for Brooklyn, just not this year. So
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think given the fact, Jacques Vaughn is doing a hell of a job.
Oh, Jacques Vaughn.
Coaching that team.
He needs more love for Coach of the Year for the.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Given his circumstances, to put up with what he had to put up with and still maintain that integrity, I give him all the props in the world, man. I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the future, but this is not their year. But you know something? As I told you, Cool, before, a lot of teams, in order to get to that level, you got to go through the pains, just like the Lakers did, just like the Pistons did, just like the Bulls did, just like the Celtics. You got to learn. You got to pay your dues in order to get to that next level. And I think a lot of teams have not faced that adversity yet, but I think in the future they'll be a lot better for what they're going through right now. Well, the East is so tough. Cool, the East is so tough. I don't know. East is going to be tough for them to do any real damage, but I think given the fact that they do have their coach in check and the way he's performing as a coach, I think it's going to promote them and propel them to do better than they did this year.
Yep, agreed. And CRS tells us, good evening, everyone. Remember to like this video. Definitely follow Sierra Ash's advice for sure.
I hope so.
All right, and then Keith says he has ice in his veins talking about your boy Maxey. Completely agree with that. I love that guy, man. He's a hooper. I think this might ruffle some feathers and certain people see it, but I think you're better off with him than with Harden. And even though he gets the bag, that bag is not going to be the kind of bag that Harden gets. Oh,
absolutely not. No. But the thing about it is, if you know about Maxey, he's just low key. Mm-hmm. Low maintenance. Never mind. Low maintenance, comes out, do his thing, and you can always count on him. And I'm just so impressed with the way he plays the game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He says another point that I actually was going to make, so I appreciate it, Kiki. We're going to need to get you up on here.
She better come on here. She better come up on here. But she's right. They really don't have a true point guard. Yeah, they have one, but he left town. They have one, but he left town.
Yeah, I like what Dinwiddie brings to the position, but he's not a conventional point guard. Like you look at the teams, and it's even in the division. In this side of the the playoffs, the Eastern Conference, the Bucks have Drew Holiday. The Heat have Kyle Lowry. The Cavs, they've got their guy. The Knicks, they got Brunson, right?
Yeah.
You look at the 76ers, you have Harden, but do you really have Harden? Harden's like a little bit of both. He's more of a combo than anything else. Mm-hmm. And the Nets, they don't have one. The Celtics, they really don't have one. The Hawks, Trey, I wouldn't consider him a traditional point guard. He's not bad at playing the position, so to speak, but he is not a traditional point guard.
I agree wholeheartedly. No doubt about that.
Yeah, so that's simply that piece of it as far as that goes. And then when we go down, obviously, I'm with you on the 76ers. I didn't say it, even though I kind of let everybody to believe that. Just want to clarify. All right. So then we're gonna go to the Celtics and the Hawks. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna say this real quick. I just did my play caller show, right? I was saying the Hawks are done, so they gonna win a game. This is over in four. This is a sweep. It's a wrap. The Hawks up 124-21. They saw me and telling me to shut up right now. But yeah, this is game three. So the first game the Hawks are at home. They're up by three. They've got a minute 29 left. So the Celtics can still come through and win the game, but the Hawks are keeping this tight and keeping this a series. I still think sweep or gentleman sweep. If the Hawks manage to find some way to win this game tonight, gentleman sweep, they'll get a game. Five, it'll be a 5 game series instead of a 4, but I don't see them possessing a threat over a series. Two, I mean, quiet as kept, straight up as could be. Any of the teams that are in the playoffs in the East, except for maybe the Nets, and just because, like we were just talking about, two new guys who are used to being fed and only having to play small minutes, now being thrust into bigger roles and needing to be creators where they used to be guys that didn't have to do that and have to grow into those roles. That's about the only other team I can see the Hawks even having a series with out East, and that's not a disrespect to the Hawks. That just shows, like you were talking about a few minutes ago, the strength of the East. But yeah.
Cool. This is a real, I think, a real touchy situation because, they have been saying that Ice Trey is responsible for having two coaches out the box, and they're putting the trade value about him getting the boot. So he got that over his head, and they've been talking about Collins as well. So we were talking about it in a couple other shows, cool, where would Ice Trey go? Where would he be if they got rid of him? I mean, he's making max money. He's still young. Where could he fit? What role would he play? And I think that looms over his head as well as Collins' head because it must be difficult playing when people talking about getting rid of you. And then they got a new coach midway through the season. I mean, Snyder, I think they got him for the fact is to see what needs to be done for next year and how that's going to play out. But the Atlanta Hawks, I mean, they have a lot of talent, but I don't think they've been playing up to their capability. I mean, you got a lot of guys now. I don't know about you, Koo, but here I am. I go like this. I would have someone who plays more consistent than have someone get 25 and then 4. I would rather have someone just a little bit more consistent. That way, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, give me consistent
right now,
15 to 18. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, so I think the Hawks right now, they're not very a consistent team, and they're relying on Young, who's a liability on defense, as we know.
And that's put it nicely.
So I mean, they're in a tough situation. I knew they would come out and play better at home. You just knew they were going to play better right now. Again, as you said, 126 to 121 with 36 seconds left to go. I knew they would come back, but I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I honestly believe that. The Celtics are so deep. I mean, and something, Key made a great point. The Celtics are doing it without a real traditional point guard. Yep. Who is their point guard? I mean, traditional.
Yep, because
I guess you can say Brogdon when he comes off the bench.
When he comes off the bench, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, Marcus Smart is no point guard.
But see, they have a lot of ISO guys, right? You got Jaylen Brown, who's an ISO guy. You got Jason Tatum, who's an ISO guy, right? Then you got their center. His name eludes me at the moment, but he's a guy that you can give him lobs, give him the ball, just throwing the ball,
Williams.
Make things happen. Yeah, Williams.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of guys on that team that can make things happen. Well, Williams is the other guy, but the center, the tall guy with the dreads, I can't remember his name, but he's been playing well in the series as well. So you've got a lot of ISO guys or guys you could just throw lobs to. So it doesn't necessarily, they're one of those teams, and I say this before as well, these teams that are primarily these younger guys that are ISO players anyway, they don't necessarily need a traditional point guard because they can create their own shot. But so you have a lot of teams that still need guys to, at least in certain situations, be able to help them create shots. So that's why, like, the Clippers look so much better with Russ, right? He's not the shooter that some other guys was, but he's a traditional point guard. He's going to try the lane. If he's got a shot he feels like he can make, he's going to take it. If not, he's going to get a ball up. He's going to put you in positions to make good shots.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of players need, because the way the defense is allowed to play this now, right? The way that You know, you can play zone and everything. You need to find those quick spots to be able to get the ball to go up quick. So being able to do that within the course of the game, having that guy when you need him that can give you the ball in those situations, that can read that and get you the ball is important. But again, when you have young ISO players, it's not as important.
I totally agree with you. And you know something? I'm getting smacked in the mouth right now. Marcus Smart, 24 points, 9, 18 from the floor, 8 assists. I mean, damn. But I mean, that is what's so great about the Celtics, even though I don't like them, as you know. I mean, they come from different angles. You got Derek White, who's been playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
They got different parts. It's not just Brown and Tatum. They got other players who are
Derek White's a
contributing.
decent point guard too. He's got to actually, play point guard a lot, and he learned from Greg Popovich. So that's enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it there. And know something too cool. The fact is, they, again, as I said before, a lot of championship teams, it's not just what the first five do, it's what the bench does. You look at most of the teams, their bench provide a major factor in the roles that they play. And again, when you can come off the bench with a Malcolm Brogdon, who should be, and most teams would be a starter.
Yeah.
You got him coming off the bench, adding leadership and experience to the backcourt, and he can score as well. You got Derek White playing out of his mind. Then you go to Grant Williams. If you look back the last game, he got no playing time. Now tonight, they put him in. He's doing good. He got 18 minutes. He got 14 points. He's doing his damn thing. I mean, the Celtics are just tough to. And then you got the rim protector, Robert Williams. You got the experience. You got some young guys. You got experience. You got Al Horford. I mean, he does his damn thing, even though he's 88 years old. But he does his damn thing. You know what I mean? I mean, but they're fun to watch. I like watching them. They're not my team, but the Celtics are going to be a team to be reckoned with. And then they're on a mission. They want to get to where they were last year and even go further. And right now, it looks like they might be up. Although I think Atlanta's not really a good test. I think the next round, we'll really see what's going on.
Yeah.
128, 122, 26 seconds left to go. Yeah, Atlanta got this one.
Yeah,
might be the only one they're going to win, but they got this one.
Yeah, I think that gentleman's sweep still happens. But Con, I was waiting to see if anybody else is coming on with us tonight. I know some of the people be a little late. But I'm gonna go ahead and let's talk about it now. So a couple of incidents that we should talk about, I think. And we should talk about the situation with Joel Embiid. Deciding that he wants to kick at a man's family jewels, we'll say.
Okay.
Even though he didn't make contact, we can tell clearly that's what he was going for. And then, of course, you have Draymond Green, who I personally think is a scumbag, doing another one of his scumbaggish activities. This time, stepping on a man's chest and launching himself in there and jumping off of him and trying to act like that was necessary in order for things to continue. And then also, of course, James Harden and his nature boy, dirtiest play in the game type move that he had last night that got him ejected. So, Con, man, we'll start with Joel Embiid and his phantom kick to the jewels. And I guess my question to you referee, so maybe you can help me understand this. How in the world did that man continue to play in their game after doing that? What in the world happened?
I'm going to keep it real with you, as I always do. There is no way he should have been allowed to remain in the game. I mean, that was in clear view. Everybody know what he was doing. And what precipitated it, again, just like with my cousin Draymond Green, knucklehead. I mean, I mean, okay, they always say the second one always gets caught. Mm-hmm. But that does not precipitate you doing what you do. Two wrongs don't make a right. And regarding the Embiid situation, I mean, it's clear as day what happened. I mean, again, and he said he's mature. Obviously, he wasn't mature enough. If you look at it from my point of view. Now, looking at it from a referee's perspective, you got to try to maintain control of the game. You got to try to established that, to try to, make sure that things go appropriately well. But how can you not? MB should have been gone. Case closed. Right off the rip. Case closed. No, as a referee, referees we back each other up on this one. I cannot understand in any way, shape, or form. If I was refereeing, he'd be gone. He'd be gone. Right then and there, out. Y'all gone. Quick. No problem. Y'all gone. That's my opinion. I think that, what's going on too, cool? If you notice all these teams, and if you looked at the rest of the game, a lot of these people are just flopping. They're just trying to get on the other team's best player. A lot of BS is going on. I just don't like the way it's going on, man. Play the damn game. The way it should be played. They're trying to get every kind of advantage by flip-flopping, falling down, and come on, man, just play the damn game. That's my opinion. And, the games are so interesting to watch, and, everybody's excited about the game. Don't ruin the game with those kind of antics. That's my opinion.
I dig that. For me, man, with Joel Embiid, you shouldn't have been playing. They won the game because a guy that should have been disqualified, not able to play. I don't think it warranted a further suspension, only because he didn't make contact, right?
Right. I agree.
Even though that was his intent, I don't think because you didn't do it, there should have been extra games. But we should not have seen any more Joel Embiid than that. I don't care if it was 3 minutes into the game. Certain actions should not be allowed to take place on the court. That's an action that should not be allowed to take place. Joel should have been booted. And we're going to take it to a Philadelphia 76ers diehard fan. Matter of fact, a diehard everything Philly fan. Joel should have been booted. Even Key saying he should have been booted.
Well, if she says it, then you know what's going on.
And then Michael says the point guard has turned into a hybrid position.
He's right.
It has for certain teams. I think it's dependent upon the system, the coach, and the players. Like I said, if you got these young guys that are basically dominant one-on-one players anyway, hey, you don't really need a guy because most of the time that's what's going to happen. One of them is going to have the ball, especially if you're a team like Boston that has a couple of them. Atlanta has a couple of them. They're not as good, but Atlanta has a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Long list, we could go through all of them, but I'm not going to take the time to go through all of them. But there's a lot of teams that have a couple of good young ISO players, so you don't really need the point guard the same way as you would with teams that have more of set shooters and guys that need to get the ball and be placed in positions to, make them better. So it just all depends on what kind of calls you have, or what kind of players you have. So Chris Robinson, our sometimes co-host on the show, I know tonight has other situations going on. He says that he got the calls wrong. Harden should have stayed. Embiid should have gone. Yep, and then we'll hop on into the Harden call next. So my thing with the Harden call, little blow, he kind of caught him, but obviously I don't think it was intentional. It just happened. I think he should have gotten a flagrant one for it, but I don't think he should have been booted from the game for it. I think they were trying to make up for not getting rid of Embiid when they did. But let me tell you something, referees and fans of the other team are going to agree with me on this. Anybody who felt just wanted to see a good, solid, fair game upon people who should have been anticipating. You can't make up for a call in the fourth quarter for a call that you didn't make in 3 minutes into the game. That does not add up in any situation. Call the game the way it should be called, and then you don't have to do bogus makeup calls and kick a dude out that shouldn't have been kicked out. And, even though he said himself, and James Harden lives in his own fantasy world, that he didn't even think it was a foul. Come on, bro. You can't hit somebody in the jeweled area and it not be called, even if it's accidental. Certain things you just can't do. And, I understand you put your elbow out and do that play a lot, but you don't always make contact with the jeweled area. What some people call in the wrestling community, the breadbasket, among other things. You cannot, hit somebody there, even if it's just a graze, and, not think there's going to be a foul called.
And cool, as a referee, when you ref NBA, high school, I don't care what, when you ref a lot of teams' games, what you do is you look at a lot of film and you look at tendencies. James Harden's left-handed. And if you look at the play, he left-handed. So he was moving, motioning to get space because he don't like people on him. That's why he developed that step back, because he likes space. So when the defensive player was coming at him, he didn't give him as much space. So he pushed him off to get that space. He definitely should have been a flagrant one, no doubt about it, because he hit him in the man's jewels. Should I think he'd been ejected? And hell no. Come on, look what Embiid did. He stood in the game. How you gonna? Come on, like you said, you're trying to make up for something. Nah. You gotta be. One thing players do, if you as a player as well, when the referees, you gotta go by what they call. They're gonna call it close. Then you know what to do. They're gonna let you play. Then you're gonna do what you can get away with, and that should have been established from the get-go. Now you don't boot and beat out, but then you boot Harden out. To me, that's a bad reflection on the game. To me, that's a bad look on the referees. I think that, maybe they should have had some, because a lot of times when you get situations like that, cool, as referees, you like that whenever there's a challenge, y'all get together and you discuss it. Same thing could have happened in that situation where maybe better heads could have cleared it up. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. I'm looking at it from both ends of the spectrum, because I still am a referee, so I got to look at it from that point and as well as a player. But MB should have definitely been gone. I think it precipitated a flagrant one, but to be ejected, I don't think that was the proper move at all.
Yeah. And then Key agrees with Chris. She says, right, Chris. She also says, in that late call on PJ Tucker, yeah, that was garbage as well. If you go make the call, let it go. And then Michael says, and I appreciate this. I love the rest of the reference, the bread basket. Yes, sir. gotta keep it a little fresh and a little different.
Yeah, we got we gotta do that. We gotta do that.
Chris says the Claxton ejection was valid. I don't think so. I think that if you're gonna let Embiid get away with what he got away with, you can pull Claxton to the side on that and say, hey man, you did get kicked, your family jewels, your bread basket area. We let that go. So we're gonna let this one go. Anything else, you out of here. I think when he already has one tech, we see them do it for guys like Draymond Green a lot, right? And other guys. But he's the first one that comes to mind. When you already have that first one, I don't think you give him that second one as fast as they did for Claxton. That's just, my thing. I don't nitpick on that one as much, but I do think that you should have had a little grace on him with that one, being as he already had one tech, and he was part of the situation where the other dude should have been kicked out and shouldn't even been in the game in this situation to get stared at, because he should have been in the locker room.
Cool. I was getting ready to say, you just took my words out of my mouth.
My bad.
If they had if they had did the right thing, that wouldn't have been an issue, because Embiid would have been out the game. But by allowing him in the game, now you're almost creating that dilemma, that problem. So if they did their homework, if they did their job, that one never got to that level. Now you think Claxton, you don't think he felt that Embiid should have been out the game? So don't you think he was going to be upset? I don't think the referees care about that, but I'm just looking at it from a fan's point of view.
Yep.
If you're nipping in the bud right then and there, case closed, let's move on. But by them allowing it, what do you think is going to happen? Come on.
Very valid points you make, sir. Very valid points. Yeah. So when we go to, I'm just gonna let you start with your cousin.
Oh man, yeah, that's my cousin, man. I don't like telling too many people about it, but yeah, he's my cousin.
Well, a lot of people don't know that, sir.
I might get a lot of hate mail now. Oh no, he ain't my cousin. Let that be known. No. What's your take on that, my cousin? What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, man, your cousin's a scumbag on the court. I think off the court, he's a great guy. I love his podcast. I think he's a completely different person when he does a podcast and when he's appeared on TNT and different stuff like that. Great, love his insight, love the intelligence with which he speaks. But when he's on the court, he's a fool for no reason sometimes. And it's not all the time, but when it happens, it goes completely left. For instance, how do you expect to not get suspended when you not only a guy grabs your legs? Yeah, he should have got a tech for grabbing your leg, because that's nothing to do with the basketball game. You have to grab the man's leg.
Correct.
So that's cool. I don't have no problem with what happened with him. But he just grabbed his leg. He didn't twist his leg. People try to make, he twists his leg, trying to hurt him. No, he just grabbed his leg when he was walking up, because he already earlier in the series, Draymond had already stepped on him before. Nobody ever talks about that, but that had already happened, and they didn't call it. How do you think you can get by with what you did? And then, while they're reviewing the play, deciding if it's going to be a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2, and you're going to get kicked out, you are in front of the commissioner of the NBA, yelling and cursing at the fans. What did you think was going to happen? You got yourself suspended just for that.
Cool. You know, my cousin, yeah, he's a knucklehead. Cool. I don't know if you know this or the viewers know this. Do you realize that my cousin has paid $1.5 million in fines, technicals, and people were saying, "Well, what is the limit on how far back you can go?" Because they said it was based on his history. That's why they gave. How far back should they go? Cool. Let me tell you something right now. The man has won 4 championships. He should know better. Look, he already cost them one when they played against Cleveland Cavaliers. We know what happened then. The man is just my cousin's just a walking. I forgot. I think he's had almost 170 something technicals in his playing career. I mean, obviously, his history precedes itself, and the fact that for him to know better how much, at least prior to the last game, how much of a value is to the team, and to go and do them antics. And as you said, the commissioner's right in the stands. What the hell you think he's going to do? That's making him look bad. That's making the brand look bad. That's making your team look bad. And, you know, I've been watching all these damn shows, cool, and they'd be like, well, he shouldn't have got what? The man, those antics, he just keeps going on. Yeah, he's my cousin, but I don't care. He should have been gone a long time. It just makes the game look bad. Like we said, just play the damn game. All this nonsense. And like you're right, he does great things off the court. He has a great podcast. He's a great human being. I mean, I don't know what I know off the court. But I mean, come on, man. You gotta smart enough, because what you're doing, you're putting your team at risk, man. You know, the team needs you, although they didn't need him the other night, but they may need him in the future.
To make a deep run, they would need him. Yeah, they would.
You know what I mean? Especially for the next series.
Yeah.
Come on, cool. You gotta think with your head, man. And it's not like this is a one-time thing. He's known for. You don't think the referees know what's going on? You don't think they look at films? You don't think the NBA officers would? And then you got the commissioner in the stands, and you're gonna act a fool.
All I'm saying, man, if you took Giannis and you put him in the situation of what Draymond Green did at that point, he's at least kicked out of that game.
Yep.
You have to control yourself in those situations and not get. Sometimes maybe it's just getting too caught up in the moment. But Draymond, you got to be able to control yourself, bro. Because the thing is with Draymond Green, I would love to see him when his career is over, transitioning to either commentating or being on a show like TNT. You know, there's TNT show, a basketball show, somewhere else, maybe ESPN. I think he has the mind for it. He has the right demeanor for it. But if you act a fool your whole career, it's going to be a little difficult to get the opportunity. So think about those things while you're in some of these situations too, Draymond. I mean, you don't have to do these things, right?
And cool, you know, yeah, and cool. We already know what transpired in the preseason. We already know what happened with him and Pooh. Now, Pooh had gotten his bag. We don't know if that was one of the reasons why he went off on Pooh and whatever.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so now you're trying to establish that respect from your teammates. Mm-hmm. And as you know, Pooh got his bag. Wiggins got his bag, and he's up for his bag, which
he's not getting his bag.
I was just gonna go there, cool. So his option is for $28 million. All right, and now, do you think they're gonna pay him $28 million?
I understand what Draymond brings to a team, but I will not pay him $28 million.
Hell no, hell to the no.
You about to have to pull up the Bishop Bullwinkle for this. But yeah, definitely, yeah, you can't pay him that money, man. You can't do it. And while we're closing up here on the Eastern Conference as well, he says I've never seen someone fall so much like Embiid. Yeah, Embiid be on that floor a lot. That
Hey,
man,
you see that? He fought about
that
18
man
times.
must
I
be a
counted, man.
tumbler. He must have been a
He was
tumbler
doing
when he
some
was a
crazy
kid.
stuff.
You know what I'm saying? That
But he's
nigga could have
mature
done
though.
it all
He's
the time.
mature. He's mature. All right. Yeah,
That's the opposite of mature in my mind, sir.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be better than that too, Joel. Um, you got an injury history. You've been healthy the last couple of years, but you got an injury history. You only be hitting the ground too much.
No.
So yeah, man, a lot going on, and that's just the Eastern Conference, y'all. We still got a whole nother conference to talk about. So with that being said, it's time to roll on over. Oh, and let me get out a final score here. It ended up being 130 to 122 for the Atlanta Hawks. So they did win a game. So gentlemen sweep, not a regular sweep. I was wrong. I thought it was gonna be 4 games and done. So hey, congratulations, Atlanta. You got the gentleman sweep. Big up. Um, New York Knicks are up 45-32 at halftime over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they're starting to pull away a little bit in this game. Like I said, no game is going to matter too much in the series. I think there'll be a lot of back and forth. That 7th game is going to be juicy. All right. So
Yes.
now we go to game 3 between the Denver Nuggets, my Denver Nuggets, as you see, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right now, that's on ESPN, just starting. The Timberwolves are up 7-4. What are your thoughts on this series, Con Man? Well, it's 10-6 now. What are your thoughts on this series, Con Man?
Well, I truly believe that although I know it's your team, they're not the most exciting team to watch, but they're probably most effective.
You're right.
You watch what they do. I mean, I think they have a strategic plan, and they are playing well. You got Porter playing out of his mind right now. You got Murray, but you got how much you got last game? We had a big game last game. I mean, he's coming back. He's healthy. They're healthy, and you got to remember, Reggie Jackson ain't even got much time yet. So I mean, they're deep on their bench. They're playing very well. I think they're gonna they're gonna smash Minnesota. Minnesota don't stand a chance. Minnesota they gave us so much to get Gobert, and I mean he's doing all right. I think he's having a double, but that's not what they got him there for. I mean he's a walking liability because as soon as they see Gobert, what do? They bring him outside, and he can't handle nothing. Smart move. Isolate him, bring him outside. He's all done. So they showed that last year. The teams that played against, they showed them that last year. I think Denver right now, they're deep, they're solid. Plus, they got home court advantage throughout the playoffs. I think they'll be a tough team to deal with. They got the big guy who's a walking double, almost a damn near triple double every damn game. He's phenomenal, and I think they're gonna be tough to deal with. Minnesota right now just seem like they're disheveled. They got the Ant-Man. He's doing his damn thing, but I don't think they really are very cohesive as a unit, and they have no business being hanging out with Denver. Denver's got a more solid team. I think they're solid from the top to the bottom as opposed to Minnesota because they had to give up so much. When you give up players like that and you give up so much, it's bound to hurt you in so many other ways. We can look at other teams that have done that, and it seems to me like Minnesota did that. They put all their eggs in one basket to get this guy, and he's not going to be the one that they playing the way that they thought he should play. So to answer your question, I got Denver all the way in this one. Denver's going to be tough to deal with. Again, they got the home court advantage, and Denver, what they're going to want to do, as you know, get rid of them quick, get them out, get your rest. Get them out. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Minnesota may win one, maybe. That's about it.
I'm not giving Minnesota one win in this series.
I didn't think you would.
We're sweeping them bad boys under the table, and not necessarily because we're just this dominant, unbeatable force, but like you said, Jokic was hurt going into the playoffs, so
Yes.
quickly get this over. He can sit and chill.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's going on with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. We don't want them to have to miss games in the playoffs, so we can get this series over and get them some rest and treatment in between. Just keep them good to go. That benefits us very much. So, yeah, sweep them, go and get this thing done. Let's move on and get ready for the winner of the Suns and the Clippers. And speaking of that, what's your thoughts, Suns Clippers? Man.
Okay. All right. Cool. Like I said, I keep it real. I am totally, very highly upset with the Clippers. And I'm going to tell you why. My man, who is undoubtedly one of the top 10 players in the NBA, when he plays, he is phenomenal. Now, they already done lost Paul George. Let me tell you something. You need to be out there playing. You need to be playing. And he's not hurt. He's not hurt. He just didn't play. How you going to do that, Cool? I mean, you already down one superstar. Now you're going to be down again. And then, thank God, well, got to give, the Clippers credit. Westbrook played out of his mind. I mean, they did the damn thing, but
Howard did his thing. Norman Powell.
42 points. I mean, come on. You got to give him a lot of credit. I think it brightened up Westbrook because everybody called him Westbrick. I mean, he played very well. I think he's picking his game up. But how you going to let your team down like that? To me, again, we're talking about the NBA and the brand. I am so upset with him, man. I mean, he has something. What a great talent. He's playing tremendous. And then to put them in that position right now with the Clippers, without George, without Kawhi, I mean, they maintained. It was close right to the end of the game. But it puts them in a real bad situation. And the Suns right now, Booker is playing like a man possessed. Booker is hitting the perimeter, the three-pointer, penetrating. He's doing the damn thing. Chris Paul staying healthy. KD, enough said. Yeah, case closed. So, I mean, they're playing real well as of right now. I think it's going to be great the next series. But unfortunately, Cool, I expected the series probably to go 6 if Paul George was healthy, maybe 7. But I don't see it going past 6 at all. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's a very bad situation. And I don't know how the Clippers are even dealing with this situation. And what are they going to do next year, Cool? Is this going to happen again? He getting that bag. What's the end result? What are you going to do?
I hear you. The thing for me is simply this. It boils down to 2 things for the Suns, 3 things for the Clippers. For the Suns, you don't play defense.
Nope.
So you should win this series, but then you're going to have to go up against the Nuggets.
Uh-huh.
All the people that are so confident that the Suns are going to beat the Nuggets are going to make all 5 of their guys have to work on the defensive side of the ball. And Phoenix outscores you. They do not play defense. You either make your shots or you miss your shots.
Yep.
They're not going to defend you. They're going to try to outscore you. A team like Denver is built to go against that in a positive way for them and negate some of that just scoring because they're going to play some defense. I'm not going to sit here and say Denver's a top defensive team, but they're a top 15 defensive team as a unit. They're in the top half of the league. You can debate where you want to put them after that, but they're in the top half. Phoenix is in the bottom half. Right. You can talk about the stats and the PERs and all that crap. Your right or your left eye, and if you wear glasses, put them on. If you wear contacts, put them on and watch the Phoenix play. There is no defense. There's no interest in play on the defensive side of the ball. It comes from the superstar. Kevin Durant, he'll get a block or 2. He'll play a tad bit of defense. But he doesn't instill that into guys around him. He didn't do it in Golden State. That's why Draymond Green was so important there. The Clippers don't have that guy.
And right now, Cool, Chris Robinson is going to be very upset with you as we speak. But you're telling facts. And the thing about it, too,
you got to tell the truth, yeah.
And the thing about it, too, Cool, is the fact is, as you know, when you get into the playoffs, it becomes more of a half-court game and how you play in the half-court set. And
Execution.
exactly. And no one's better than Denver. I mean, you get the big man passing like he's a Harlem Globetrotter. I mean, as the playoffs go further and further, the game slows down. And Phoenix likes to run when they can. They like the game more spread wide open, so they can penetrate and do their thing. Whereas Denver, they're good either way, and they can again the half court offense becomes so much more crucial during the playoffs because defenses get better. They allow them more physicality. So I think right now Denver, they're gonna be a tough out, and they got the home court advantage as well too. And then you can talk about the altitude. I don't know how much of a part that plays. But I mean, Denver's going to be a tough team to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that just because that's your team, but from sitting back, watching, observing, I watch their half court sets. I watch how they're being coached. I like the way their rotations going on. They're getting a lot of help from their bench as well as the starting five, and they seem like they're very cohesive. And they got some athletic players as well. They got it all. I don't know. Denver's going to be a tough team to deal with. That's all I got to say.
No. And then for the Clippers, Clippers coach. I don't even remember who the coach is at this point, but Clippers coach.
Ty Lue.
Yeah, Ty Lue, you're right. Ty Lue. Why on God's green earth, with the Kawhi that you know he ain't going to never be 100% again, do you have him in game 2 when y'all have gotten your hind pods dragged? When you realize, and there comes a point in the game where you say, you know what, we're gonna win or we're gonna lose. We're probably gonna lose. I'm gonna go ahead and take Kawhi out, put Norman in, let him play. Let's see what he got. If you manage Kawhi's minutes better in that game, you probably could have had him for at least 20 minutes or so in this last game. If you have Kawhi Leonard for 20 minutes in this game 3, the series is you're up 2-1. Let's talk about it.
Valid point.
You know he can't play 30, 40 minutes a game for a 7-game series. His knee is not going to ever be that good enough for that again. You know, so you have to manage the minutes of your guy. That's your guy. And then the other thing with this team, Paul George, is he going to ever be healthy for you again? Is Paul George going to be the new Anthony Street Davis? Or is he going to ever be healthy? It doesn't look like when you need him, he's there. And that's not something he can control, just like Anthony Davis never got hurt on purpose. And we talk about people's injuries. We'll talk about the Lakers in a minute or two. But I just want to say these guys are not getting hurt because they want to be hurt. But once you've been hurt a couple of times, it's a lot easier to get re-injured. Unfortunately, it's just how it works. And I just don't think the Clippers have enough with one of their 2 top players out and the other one probably only ever going to be about 75 to 80% on a good day. That's going to be hard. And that's why even though they have that 5-seed record, once we find out about Paul George being out the whole series and then Kawhi on the load management thing with the knee, it's just going to be hard. That's why I have Phoenix winning this series, just because I don't think Norman Powell can put up 40-some a game every game.
No.
He may can. If he can, we have a different conversation. Game 4 is going to be important. If Phoenix goes up tomorrow, if they go up 3-1, this series is definitely over. Now, if it goes back to 2-2, it gets a little bit more interesting, and we'll see how that swings. But I've got Phoenix.
And as we said before, Crew, the fact is, again, it's about adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Powell got that. They're going to make adjustments so he don't get that 42. You know what I mean? It's all, again, it's about in-game adjustments and how you handle it. I don't see Clippers coming out this one at all. I think they'll be competitive. They're going to play with heart, but they're not going to be able to come out of this one. I definitely got the Suns winning this one.
Yep.
And the more games the Suns play, the more KD gets to know his teammates. You know what I mean? And then, again, if they get rid of them real quick, they got time to rest. They got time to prepare better. They got time to study. They got time. You know what I mean? It all works so well if they can get rid of them quick. But like you said, if it goes 2-2, anything can happen. So they got to handle their business. Like some other teams we'll talk about in a minute that didn't handle their business, but we'll go there next.
Yep, we're going there right away, sir. The Sacramento Kings And the Golden State Warriors, the Sacramento Kings, are up 2-1. They took both games at home. Golden State came out in game 3 at their home and got a win without their troublemaker. What are your thoughts?
Well, this series is going to be a very good. It started off as being good. My cousin's acting up, but other than that, I mean, it's a good series, and I think it's good for the country to see, because we don't get to see Sacramento play because they're out in the West Coast and they don't have a lot of televised games. But you got some great talent on their team as well. I think again, Golden State, they got that championship genes in them right now. You know what I mean? And they're not going to give up. And Steph is doing Steph. Clay's doing his thing as well. And they came at Looney, 20 rebounds. I didn't expect that. But Sacramento right now, they're in a great situation as far as. And I brought up the other day. Do you know if anyone on the Sacramento is on a max contract? There is none.
Harrison Barnes is.
Is he on a max?
I don't think it's a super
I don't know
max.
if he's on a max. He might
It's
be.
a max, but I don't think it's a super max. It's not the
Okay.
super max.
So I mean, they got a great future ahead. I think right now, they're not ready yet. Like as I told you before, you got to go through them pains. I think Golden State has been there. They've been there. They've done that. My cousin's coming back, so I think they're going to be able to pull this one out. I think Sacramento is going to be a team to be reckoned with in the future. I know Shaquille O'Neal is very happy because he's power owner, so I think he's going to be very happy. But I think that Sacramento will be a team to be reckoned with in the future. But again, they got to go through their growing pains, and right now, this is what they're going through. And then you got one more game at Golden State. They tied 2-2. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. My cousin will be back, so anything can happen unless he gets kicked out of a game again. I don't know. But I think it's going to be a good series. But I'm going to go with Golden State. But I tell you what, Sacramento, I like the way they play. I like the way they're coached. I like the way they seem to be play well together. And they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. But I'm going to go with Golden State. I got to call my cousin, tell him shut the what up and just play. But other than that, I think they're going to be all right. I think Golden State's going to pull this off.
So, comment, I was able to look it up, and actually, De'Aaron Fox is on a max extension. He signed in 2020. It's the 5-year 163, so still not the super max, but he's on the max deal.
Okay.
And the bonus is on it's not quite the max, but he's making he's not on the max. So the only one actually on the max is De'Aaron Fox. So it's not Harrison Barnes, it's De'Aaron Fox.
Okay. But most teams,
to your point,
yeah,
only got that one max extension. It's not a super max. And he's under contract until 2025 before you got to pay him again. So to your point, what you were saying, that is very highly accurate, but they don't have a lot of guys. To me, I think the Kings win this series because Golden State has become a jump shooting team at this point. So when you're primarily jump shooters, I mean, obviously they go to the blow sometime, but when you're primarily jump shooters and you're playing against teams that are going to take it to the hole on you and are going to make you outplay them by playing good team basketball, which is what Sacramento does. And like I said, they have a lot of guys that can step up. They don't have one guy to depend on. If you were talking about the one guy in the playoffs, you'd probably say Barnes. In the regular season, you'd probably say Fox and Sabonis. They've been pretty good in the playoffs, and Sabonis has definitely gotten under the skin of Draymond Green. It looks like he's got his ass stomping on the sternum. You didn't got upset with him. So I think that Sacramento 6 or 7, but I'll go Sacramento. But again, this is the other series where I'm saying there's 2 series that I'm really about 50-50 on. It's these 2, and shout out to the Grizzlies Lakers, who was going to talk about next. That depends on one guy. So I'll go and give my quick thoughts on the Grizzlies and the Lakers. The Grizzlies need Ja Morant back. If they can get Ja Morant, even if it's game 4, if they can get Ja Morant back on that court, they've got a good chance to beat the Lakers because of what he will add to the team. If they cannot get Ja Morant back on this team by game 5 at the very latest, the series is going to be over unless they can somehow find a way to beat the Lakers for a second game. They've got to come out of LA 2-2 in order to have a chance.
Cool. I 100% agree with you. The thing about Job, because it's his shooting hand, and he's one of them dudes, as you know, he likes to go to the cup, jump 8 feet off the ground, and do all that. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. And as you know, because you play ball, you see someone who has an injury, you're going to go after that injury. Every time he gets that, it's going to happen. So I don't know how effective he can be, but he's going to be a threat, and they have to, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how effective he's going to be. Again, as we talked about, the Lakers should have taken full advantage of that opportunity, and they blew it. Now they're going to come back to LA. Now, LeBron's 116 years old. If they could have got that rest to prepare for the next series. But now what they did, they put themselves in a bind. Now this series is going to end up going 6-7, I think, anyway. And they could have nipped it in the bud. I'm upset. My other cousin, Anthony Davis, he driving me nuts. I don't know what's up with this dude. Again, he was there to take the throne from, or take the whatever from LeBron. He's playing great. His numbers are great, fantastical, but he just ain't got that dog in him, man. I'm like, sometimes he does. Sometimes I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. What the Lakers should have done. I know we gotta go. Lakers should have done what you do. You start inside, get the ball to him, and then once they come in, then you can distribute out. Then you got guys can hit their perimeter because they got shooters now. My cousin D'Angelo Russell, I don't know what's up with him. He's shooting terrible. He needs to come to play as well. Reeves is going to, you know what you're going to get out of Reeves. Hoochie Mama, he's going to do his thing. Yai, cool, yai.
He said Hoochie Mama.
I'm trying to be serious, cool. But anyway, he played, got me laughing. All right, we got to try to get to. I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about Rui.
Anyway, oh boy, all right, yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, he's playing well. We got 29. Then the last game, we got 20. I don't know if they're gonna. To me, it sounds good at the beginning because it didn't have to depend on AD or LeBron. And Reeves came out. He played real well the first game. D'Angelo Russell's going to have to come and step up to the plate. But they're back home now, so hopefully they can do the damn thing. But they got to get this out because they're going to need their rest. AD got to come out, establish himself right at the get-go. Again, as I said, consistency is the key. You got up, down, that you got to be a little bit more consistent in your play. And he needs to come out and be more effective, be more aggressive. And I think the Lakers need to give him the ball to establish himself. And then what that will do is they'll draw more defensive players against him, which can open up the doors for perimeter shooting as well, and also penetration as well. But I think the Lakers, they really disappointed me in the last game. I thought they should have took it and ran with it because if Ja comes back and he's 80%, they're going to be problems. So they had the advantage. I hope they just didn't let it go. We'll see. But I'm gonna go with Lakers in that series.
Fair enough. So a couple of comments here. We got Daniel Berry sports highlights with a yo for us. What's going on, Daniel? Thanks for tuning in with us, man. Checking everything out. So Mike says, as was mentioned earlier, injuries are part of the adjustments, including the playoffs. Definitely.
Yes.
Mike, I know that was when we were talking about the Clippers. And the big thing is when you have your top two guys, one's hurt and one's never going to really be 80% probably this season. Above that, that's tough. But you are right. That's why you play the game. Maurice Powell hits us with a laugh out loud. That was definitely for the Rui.
Yeah.
And then he says Rui is balling. And then Mike says, we're crying on our end also. Hey man. When he said that, man, I just hey man, I wasn't prepared. That's all. All right, and Maurice Powell asks if the Lakers don't take control tomorrow, this will be a long series. I definitely
Yes.
agree. The Lakers should win this series, I think, but if John gets back, you never know because he's a difference maker. But the Lakers are inconsistent too, so it can go either way. But I do think that they would have the advantage because you do have LeBron, and people can love LeBron, you can hate LeBron, but you have to acknowledge that LeBron is not. If he can win, he's gonna do everything he can to help the team win.
Now, could me ask you a question? Because it's been brought up. My man called out LeBron, say he's old, he this, he that, and that. Do you think? Do you think? Obviously, LeBron got wind of it. Do you think he's just going to come out and try to get 40 to prove his point, or do you think he going to have the common sense to just play his game and let that dictate it, as opposed to go out there trying to send a message? What do you think he's going to do?
I think he's just going to play his game and let
Yep.
that speak for itself because,
Exactly.
I mean, he already responded to the comments and he was like, I ain't got time to talk about it. And they kept asking him about it. He just got up and left like, look, man, that's all y'all got to talk about. I holler.
I hear that.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, as a competitor, you like, oh, this little young boy trying to call me out. But at the same time, you like, you know what, man? I'm not going to let that bother me to the point where I go out and try to prove that I'm this or that by scoring 40 points on them. We're trying to get wins. That's what's more important.
Right. And that would take away from the team if he tries to make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's what Dylan Brooks wanted to do.
Of course he does.
That's all he wants to do. All right, and then we got the NBA Cypher with Mo says, good stuff, guys. Salute. Appreciate that. NBA Cypher with Mo.
Thank you, man.
Also, LeBron won't play into what the Barge wants. What the Barge says. Dylan
okay.
LeBarge. I can rock with that. I call him Chico LeBarge.
Right. Oh, man.
But yeah, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for the evening. Shout out to my main man, the Con Man, for hopping on with me, giving us some great insight into the NBA. He's a vet. You can always catch him on the Sports Corner with the Con Man. I'm gonna be sliding on that for episode with him to cut up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Enjoyed the last time. I was definitely ready for a comeback performance. You know, Sports Empire Network, man, just check us out. We're working a lot of shows out, a lot of shows coming. And you know, any last thoughts, Con?
No, I'm good, man. Hey, I enjoy hanging out with you, my brother, man. And we have a good time. And I hope folks tune in, man. Check us out. We doing the damn thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that, give y'all a little, hit you with a little promo for the network, and then we out.